Welcome to the tea room. Glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about basic loose leaf tea brewing, which at its heart is extremely fun and simple. So let me go over what you need. Good tasting water, tea, which you can get at mandalatea.com, a teapot, something to brew your tea in, something to pour the tea off into. This pot has a strainer built in. You can also find extra strainers like this to help get the liquid as clear as possible. Let me talk a little bit about the process. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of this loose leaf green needle jasmine tea. I'm putting this in a 7-ounce pot. The amount of tea that you're going to use will vary depending on the tea, because some teas are much more light and voluminous, so you might need up to 2 tablespoons of some of the lighter teas and even less of some of the more dense teas. All of the basic amounts that you'll need are written on the instructions of any of the teas that you'll purchase through us. And you may want to experiment. You may be somebody that likes a stronger cup and you might want to use more or less leaf depending on what you want. So I put the loose leaf tea into this so it can just float freely within the water in the teapot. I'm going to go over to my kettle. In this case I'm using 175 degree water. The temperature of the water is important, and it's going to differ depending on the tea that you're making. Green, white, yellow teas are going to use about 175 degrees, oolongs 195, and black and pu'er teas are going to be up in the 208 to boiling range. If you have one of these fancy machines, it'll tell you the temperature. If not, you can use a regular kettle and use a digital thermometer in it to determine your water temperature. So I poured 175 degree water over that leaf, and then you saw how I poured it out. What it was doing was just rinsing the leaf, warming up the teapot, washing away any dust that might be present on the leaf, but basically to prime the leaf and get it ready to open up and give up its flavor. At this point in the process, I always love to smell the leaf. Oh, and share that with your friends too. Make it part of your ritual. The sense of smell is such an important part of the tea experience. Oh, delicious. So then I can use this rinse water to warm the cups for my friends, or just simply pour it into the sink or tea desk. So that was about a 10-second rinse. Now I'm going back to 175 degree water. Again, it's a green tea. It's a less hardy leaf, so it's going to require that lower water temperature. And now I'm going to start off with about a 30-second infusion. If you're mindful and you've got the ability to just sit and be with your tea, you can count off the seconds or count breaths, or use one of these handy little kitchen timers. You could just set it for 30 seconds or whatever the instructions say to do. And then you can experiment as well. Let's say 30 seconds have passed, then I can just pour that off. In this case, I don't need to use a fine strainer if you've got a teapot that's got a strainer built in, unless you want a really clear cup of tea. You can pour it out of your pitcher like so. And I've even seen, at the beginning when I started getting into loose leaf tea brewing and I didn't have teapots and such, I was using 2 mason jars and a kitchen strainer. That's certainly a way to do it. There's also a video that you'll find using the tea thermos, which has the strainer built in, where you can drink right out of the tea thermos. Look for that. We have those for sale at Mandala Tea. And you get to taste your first infusion. Now I can repeat that process over and over again using the same leaf. That's the part that makes it so economical with good loose leaf tea. And it's up to you when the tea is done. You can work the same leaf for hours if you'd like, and you just do it over and over again. Delicious, fun. You can have a ball and be willing to experiment and see what's your cup of tea.